We have a special guest with us. She's an internationally acclaimed actress. She's a writer, a musician, truth teller. She's been the voice for those who have been silenced. She was the first woman to be awarded the GQ Inspiration Prize. She wrote a book that I highly recommend titled Brave, and she is certainly that. She has a new podcast coming out called The Brave Truth. Please welcome to the show, Rose McGowan. Hi, Rose. How are you?
Hello, Jimmy. Thank you for having me. And I apologize for last week's semi-fiasco on my part. I do believe Tim Cook is partially to blame. You know, they double check everything you do on your iPhone except for the AM PM. That's my fault.
No, I've had that happen. I tell Siri to set my alarms, and then when I don't wake up, it's her fault. And boy, she hears about it. I'll tell you that.
She hears about it.
So, Rose McGowan, it's been quite a journey for you because you were 2017's Time Person of the Year, right? And then you fell out of favor with the people. And let me just play this quick excerpt of when you went on Fox News a few weeks ago, and it caused a big stir, but it sounded a lot like what we've been saying here at the Jimmy Dore Show since 2015. And so let me just play it and we'll talk about it.
Well, as some of you know, as some of you don't know, if you've heard
Hang on, let me turn it up a little bit. It's a little too low. Ready? And...
Well, as some of you know, as some of you don't know, if you've heard my name or read anything on me in the media, I grew up in a cult, and it was a very famous cult called Children of God, and it gave me a superpower. It gave me the ability to see the control and the propaganda machine, especially in the U.S., for what it is and how it harms people, and how the left can harm people just as much as the right if they go very, very deep into it and ignore all other aspects of kind of reality in a way, and that you're serving a master that might not be serving you. And I always say I come in peace. I am not here to make people feel bad about their political choices, but I am here to say that you might be in a cult too if you don't know the signs. And I do believe Democrats most especially are in a deep cult that they really don't and know about and aren't really aware of. And I leave the Republicans alone more because I do respect people more that are like, this is what we are, this is what we're about, this is what we're against. Whereas I find that the Democrats are really pretty much almost against all the same things. They're against changing the world for the better, and they're for keeping a system in place that is for so few people and benefits so few, but they masquerade as the helpers. We would do this. The world would be perfect if only those Republicans would get out of the way. Well, okay, you've got control. So now what? What are you going to do to make the world better?
So that is such a salient point. I tried to point out to my friends from Hollywood, and I know through comedy, and in fact, even the executive producer of The Simpsons was misinformed on this, of course, on Twitter, and he was talking about you have to vote for Joe Biden because of kids in cages, and then I had to inform him that no, I'm sorry. Joe Biden built those cages. Joe Biden and Barack Obama deported more Hispanics than all the presidents combined since 1890. Barack Obama gassed the immigrants at the border. Barack Obama, you know why there's Muslim refugees at the airport that Trump is banning? Because Barack Obama spent 8 years bombing the shit out of them. And my joke was, what does it take for you guys to get upset at Barack Obama bombing Muslims? Does he have to do it at an airport for you guys to give a shit about it? So I've been making those same points here. And of course, you've seen I've been pilloried by the establishment liberal lib media, so you went from being Times Magazine's Person of the Year and loved by the establishment to now being pilloried constantly because you're telling those truths. Was that why that's happening, you think?
Well, it actually happened a lot earlier than that. They've been uncomfortable, the mainstream media, the shit libs, if you will, to use your vernacular, Jimmy. They have been after me since the beginning. They've been trying to silence me since the beginning. Twitter deactivated my account 4 days after the New York Times broke the Weinstein news because I tweeted at Jeff Bezos and basically iced was the final axe, on the neck of his studio executive head. that was putting out thought for the world, which is where I have a problem with Hollywood. There's so much about this. I don't know what it takes. I've met Barack Obama, and Ben Rhodes, his script writer and whatever else he is, wrote he's the Tom character in The Godfather, I think, right? The consigliere. And he texted me after I met Barack Obama, "What did you think of my boss?" And I wrote back, "Human to human, your boss is a fail." But he was. I was very disappointed. But I didn't hope for a lot. I didn't vote for him. I felt very uncomfortable with him when he was running. I loved that he meant so much to so many. But he is just so establishment. But he doubled down. What he's done in the Middle East, what Joe Biden, under probably the tutelage of Biden, because he's this longtime war hawk. My father was never a Democrat. My mother's a deep Democrat. I actually honestly voted once in my life, and it was in the primary, and then I was like, fuck it. Sorry. I was never going to go out Hollywood, vote for people, but vote like we want you to. And going on Fox News has just it's reactivated their hatred for me. And their hatred for me stems from they don't understand me. It's okay. I don't understand them.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you voted for Hillary Clinton in the primary.
You are correct.
So what happened was when you started it, so just a very similar thing that happened with Glenn Greenwald was that he was the loved and he was the media darling at MSNBC and CNN, and everybody loved him when he was telling hard truths about George Bush and Dick Cheney. But then when he started to do the same thing about Barack Obama and the Clintons, that everybody went nuts. And so that's what happened with you. You realized that the people who were protecting Harvey Weinstein, because you were on the forefront of exposing Harvey Weinstein, and people used to think you were crazy about that. And then, of course, all the reporting that's come out, Ronan Farrow, everything has come out, has actually vindicated everything you've said. You were followed by the Mossad, the agency would had Mossad members, all that stuff. Drones, people were following you. They were stealing your private information, stealing your book before it was published, and stuff like So all that stuff that you were saying is actually true, and it's because you started to tell the truth about both sides, about how the Clintons and the Democratic machine and the Hollywood Democratic machine protected Harvey Weinstein, and that's where it really started, right? You were on stage at an event, and you were supposed to introduce Hillary Clinton. You want to tell that story?
Yeah, that's a good one. And of course, there was no press coverage of it, even though there was press everywhere that day. It was an event called Ozzy Fest or Ozzy Fest. I'm not sure. It was in Central Park. And it was not long after the New York Times story broke on Weinstein, October 2017. And I had found out that with one phone call from her spokesperson at the directive of Hillary Clinton, the NBC expose, that I'd been playing NBC execs off of New York Times. I knew one of them would fall. And I was right. And I was pretty sure NBC, but I know that nobody really at the New York Times wants to actually help anybody. That it's a pissing contest with high-powered people, right? Who gets the story first? Who breaks it? So I get informed that with one phone call, the spokesperson had shut it down. Ronan Farrow, and I don't know if he's scared of Hillary. He devoted about 2 sentences to it in his book, but I think there's a lot more to unpack there. I would put forth, So then I find this out shortly before going on stage. And this is after the expose and the New Yorker come out, but just finding out. And I was like, what the? Oh, bitch. So they say, you're going to be introducing Hillary. And I'm like, well, fantastic. So the last thing I say, I get up. And this is, New York Central Park. People coming to see Hillary Clinton. So who do you think this audience is, right? So I get up and I say, I just want to leave you with one final thought. Harvey Weinstein was Hollywood's cult leader, but he was protected by the Democratic Party. Welcome to the stage, Hillary Clinton. I have to plug in. And there was this collective... But I've had an end, when she drove away and I walked out of Central Park that day.
She didn't invite...
I saw her in her town car.
And did she invite you out to have a coffee and talk about it?
No, I just saw the shape of her hairdo in a black outline in her town car, and I just see this face go like that. That was my last dealing.
I want to make the point that
go to you.
I want to make the point that I'm going to play this next video of you, and again, it's what has made this kind of thinking that you're espousing now and revealing is the same thing that got me very unpopular with the Democratic Party. And people who consider themselves Democrats, right? It's because people who consider themselves Democrats consider themselves the guys with the white hats. They're the cowboys with the white hats. They're the good guys. They're on the good side. And my show is here to remind them, you're not. That, in fact, the last time the Democrats had complete control of government, meaning that they had the House, the Senate, a filibuster-proof Senate, and Barack Obama as president, what did they do? Did they give us Medicare for all? Did they give us a public option even? Did they give us student debt relief? Did they save people's mortgages? They did the exact opposite. They gave us a right-wing health care giveaway to the health insurance companies and big pharma that bankrupts Americans and keeps us away from health care. They also kicked 5.1 million families out of their homes. Instead of helping them save their homes in a crisis they did not create, Barack Obama kicked them. There wasn't, and because of Matt Taibbi and Dave Dayen's reporting, we know this, that it wasn't a bug in their mortgage relief program that people lost their houses. That was a feature. They wanted to kick 5.1 million families out of their houses. Why? So they could give those properties to their donor base, which was Wall Street, and then they could resell them. And they're going to do that again. They're getting ready to do. That's why they're not giving you a minimum wage. That's why they're not giving you real COVID relief, because they want you to default on your mortgage so they could give that to your creditors, which is Wall Street, which is their donor class. And so this is what the Democrats do when they have complete control of government. They don't do anything for you. They act exactly like what they are, corporate Republicans. Barack Obama admitted, and I wish I had the videotape loaded, I just thought of it now, but where they asked him, are you a socialist? And he said, no, if you look at my policies, they would be considered moderate Republican. And of course they would. And here's Joe Biden again. He's a Republican. And by the way, Joe Biden is farther right than any right-wing politician who is elected in Europe. Every right-wing politician who's elected in Europe is for universal health care and Medicare for all. Barack Obama is against it. He's to the right of Angela Merkel. He's to the right of Boris Johnson. That's how right-wing Joe Biden is, and people don't realize it. And so you've been saying similar things, and I'll just play it here.
Don't pretend you're not an assassin, and don't pretend you're not a mass murderer on a global scale. You do damage, Joe Biden. You do damage. The political gaslighting that the Democrats, led by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, what they do, all of them, Obama, the Clintons, what they do is disgusting. Gaslighting is doing one thing and saying another and telling you you're better off for it. And people believe it. Obama and Biden drone bomb the Middle East more than any other country. They did not withdraw troops. And then you go to Joe Biden being a mass murderer, bombing Syria 21 days into office. Excuse me? It's like America at this point is hire a killer. Other countries are hiring us to do their dirty work, somehow, some way. They're buying arms or they're buying drugs. I don't talk about Republicans a lot because it's just obvious. But it's like I don't have to, we can see it. Whereas the Democrats do hide it better. And the people at home think everybody wants their stuff. Migrants are trying to cross the border to steal their Walmart couch. Fuck that. It's an oligarchy. It is not a democracy. Americans don't even know that there's no choice. The corporation gives you no choice. At one point, you become the corporation.
So that's very well said. George Carlin said similar things. You're saying it even in a more clear way. There is no. So I've tried to tell people that too, right? So in Yemen, Barack Obama assisted a genocide by Saudi Arabia, right? And why are we always bombing at the behest of Saudi Arabia? Why are we in Syria? Why are we arming ISIL? Why are we arming Al Qaeda in Syria? Barack Obama did that. It's called timber sycamore. Look it up. It's even in Wikipedia. That's how well known it is. So I try to tell people that Barack Obama dropped more bombs than George Bush and Dick Cheney. They dropped so many bombs in the Middle East, they ran out of bombs. That actually happened. So people don't realize this. He didn't pull us out of Afghanistan. We're still in there. So I tried to tell people this, and they wanted to prosecute Julian Assange. They could. They tortured Chelsea Manning. When I tell people this, when I try to tell people this, they do the exact same thing to me as they're doing to you right now. They're trying to make me out to be well, me, they go a step further. They say I'm a white supremacist. They say I'm a misogynist. I'm a sexist. So they can't say that stuff about you, but. So there it is. I mean, it's as clear as day. When you tell the truth about our two-party system, which it is not a democracy. I've said this many times. Your democracy was stolen from you long time ago. We have one party with two right wings. And when you tell people that, they don't want to hear it, but we're living in it right now. The first thing Joe Biden did when he became president, you pointed out, he bombed Syria before he gave people their COVID relief checks. He bombed Syria. That's the first thing they did. And why people still don't know that we're occupying Syria. We're occupying their oil fields and their wheat fields. Do you think that's for democracy? So I don't know. I don't know where else to. After you did this video and after you were on Fox News, Keith Olbermann came out and said, if you can't tell the difference between the Republican death cult and the Democrats, let me summarize for you. You're full of shit and blocked. Yeah, you're blocked. And if you'll excuse me, I have some Kool-Aid to drink. I am Keith Olbermann. Of course, people pointed out, Keith, honey, you're proving her point. Please try and find some self-aware. That's exactly. So you said the Democrats are in a cult, and he just proved it. That's exactly. That's not a sober. That's not someone thinking soberly and coming to some kind of sober revelation that, hey, you're full of shit and the Democrats are right. That's just hilarious.
It's insane. And I mean, it's actually, here's what happens when you're in a cult and when you're in it. When anybody comes up and says something that electrifies your brain or is a threat to your illusion, they lash out. So this is like a hysterical response, and it was kind of instantaneous. The video I didn't release, that hasn't been released yet. You're the first person to play it. It's actually a promo for my upcoming podcast, The Brave Truth, on May 26th, where I will stir up more shit. And, you know, you're right about all of it. You're right about poor Chelsea Manning. She was tortured. Julian Assange is being tortured to death. They want him to die. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Well, it's cognitive dissonance. You mentioned that, too. That's what they're employing. It's the things that I saw the right wing, when I came up in the era of Clinton and Ronald Reagan, I saw that the right wing would practice cognitive dissonance, and I always thought they did it. And then, of course, I saw what the Bill Clinton did and Al Gore did, where they got in bed with the Koch brothers through the Democratic Leadership Council. They literally had executives from the Koch brothers on their Democratic Leadership Council, and then they ramped up the drug war. Right? They imprisoned all black and brown people. At the same time, they decimated welfare as we knew it. And they called the black kids super predators. They deregulated Wall Street. They tried to privatize Social Security. So I noticed all this stuff, and I realized, hey, wait a minute, this is all bullshit. The Democrat Bill Clinton is no friend of the working man. He did NAFTA, which cut the legs right from underneath unions for the rest of our life, right? So as they're decimating unions, they're ramping up, they're exploding the prison population while they're gutting welfare. That sounds like a crazy right winger. That doesn't sound like a Democrat that I was supposed to believe was a Democrat. So I got hip to them, and then I read, you read Listen Liberal by Thomas Frank, and then you'll never be the same. And I just want to show Keith Olbermann saying that you're saying that they're in a cult, and he's saying, fuck you. Well, I don't know what you would call that.
Dear.
I don't know. Speaking of people who don't know they're in a cult, that would be Keith Olbermann. You'd think he would have had, Rose, you think he would have had one friend tell him that this was a shitty idea, but apparently he doesn't have any friends. That's the type of photo shoot someone does.
He is America.
That's
and which is why I live in Mexico. Yay!
Keith, can I just show this again? This is the kind of photo shoot someone does right before they're convinced they can fly.
It hurts me.
It does. right before they think they can fly. That's the kind of photo shoot they do. So, Keith Olbermann has he hates himself because of his Russian heritage. He literally said that. He said, I denounce myself, my Russian heritage. He's xenophobic against himself. It's nuts. That's how Trump has broken.
It's deep cult, and his whole life and his reality would evaporate if he accepted anything else. And that's why they fight so hard. When he blocked me and he said, you're full of shit, and blocked, I was like, I tweeted back, achievement unlocked. Because, it's an achievement.
Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.